Welcome to 21st Sports recap and reaction for Game 2 of the NLDS between the New York Mets and the Los Angeles Dodgers, played October 10th, 2015. We're going to go over every at-bat and the stats and give our breakdown and analysis for this game. And on the mound for Los Angeles, Zack Greinke. And on the mound for New York, Noah Syndergaard. And starting things off in the top of the first, Greinke let up a leadoff single to Granderson. David Wright then hit into a double play, and then Daniel Murphy struck out. So that would do it for the top of the first. And then in the bottom of the first, Syndergaard would set down the side in order as he got Kendrick to ground out, struck out Seager, and struck out Gonzalez. So now in the top of the second, Greinke would let up a leadoff home run to Yoenis Cespedes as he took it 374 feet over the right field wall, and it was 1-0 New York over Los Angeles. Duda popped out, and then Denard struck out, and now Conforto came to the plate, and he hit a solo shot, and it was now 2-0 Mets over the Dodgers. Tejada struck out, and that would do it for the top half of the second, but not after the Mets had added 2 runs to the scoreboard. So now in the bottom of the second, Syndergaard would strike out Turner. He walked Ethier. Crawford then grounded out, and then Grandal lied out. So now, on the top of the third, Zack Greinke would get Syndergaard to ground out, Granderson grounded out, and then he would strike out Wright as he retired the side in order. So now on to the bottom of the third, Syndergaard would end up letting up a leadoff single to Hernandez. Greinke then struck out, Kendrick then singled, and then Seager came up 2 on, 1 out, and then he struck out, and then Gonzalez struck out. As both pitchers were doing really well early on in this game. So now in the top of the fourth, Greinke would let up a leadoff single to Murphy. Cespedes lined out, and then Duda struck out, and Murphy was caught stealing at second. So he had a double play on the strikeout and then caught stealing at second. So now on to the bottom of the fourth, Syndergaard would end up letting up a ground rule double to Turner. So Turner with the ground rule double over the left field wall, the little short wall there. And then Ethier hit a double that brought Turner in. Now the Dodgers were on the scoreboard as they cut the Mets lead to 1 with the score New York 2, Los Angeles 1. Crawford then grounded into a fielder's choice, and Ethier was out at third. So now Grandal struck out, and Hernandez was intentionally walked, and then Greinke flew out. So that brought the bottom of the fourth to a close, but not after the Dodgers had put a run on the scoreboard. So 2-1 going into the fifth, and Greinke would get Denard striking out, and then Conforto would line out. Tejada struck out, and now on to the bottom of the fifth. Syndergaard would set down the side in order, getting Kendrick, Seager to both ground out, and then struck out Gonzalez. And now we're on to the top of the sixth. Greinke struck out Syndergaard, then Granderson reached on an infield single, then Wright hit into a double play, and that would do it for the top half of the sixth. So now on to the bottom of the sixth. Syndergaard still on the mound for New York. He got Turner to fly out. He walked Ethier, and then Crawford hit into a double play. So that would do it for the sixth inning. So now on to the top of the seventh. Greinke would end up getting Murphy to fly out. Then he got Cespedes to ground out and Duda to pop out as he retired the side in order in the top of the seventh. So now on to the bottom of the seventh. Syndergaard still on the mound for the Mets. He would strike out Grandal, and then he walked Hernandez. Chase Utley would then pinch hit for Zack Greinke as he was done for the night. And now Hernandez stole second. Utley then hit a single, moving Hernandez to third. So now it was runners on the corners with 1 out. And Syndergaard would leave the game as Bartolo Colon would come in to relieve him. And then Kendrick hit into a fielder's choice, and they went to try to turn the double play. As Murphy came down with it, he flipped it to Tejada, but Chase Utley slid into Tejada, and so he didn't touch second, and he was not able to make the throw. Hernandez scored on the play, and everybody, initially Utley was ruled out, but they went to review it, and they ruled that he was safe. So although Utley didn't even touch second base, but neither did Tejada, and they called Utley safe at second, Kendrick was safe at first, and Hernandez scored, and so this game was tied. And in somewhat controversial fashion, Tejada, as I understand it, broke his leg on the play, fractured tibia. And so, like I said, they played it over and over again. It was definitely within the rules to play, as Utley was within an arm's length of second base, although he never actually touched second and initially was ruled out. And Tejada, he didn't touch second either, although you only have to be in the area of the base, especially when you're trying to turn two. You don't actually have to touch it. But they ended up ruling Utley safe. It was a legal play. And although he didn't touch the base, neither did Tejada. And so then it was a crazy play, but it was a tie game now. And so after they came back after a stop, we now had Reed come in to relieve Colon, and Flores in it short for Tejada, who left the game with an air brace and, as I said, fractured tibia. So now Seager flew out to left, and then Gonzalez came to the plate, and Gonzalez hit a double that drove in Utley and Kendrick, and Gonzalez ended up advancing to third with the throw to home. The close call there for Kendrick as he stretched it and he slid in just in time. And it was now a 2-run lead for the Dodgers as they took the lead for the first time in this game, with the score now Los Angeles 4, New York 2. Turner then hit a double, and that drove in Gonzalez, and it was now 5-2. As the Dodgers just kept on bringing in the runs as they ended up scoring 4 runs in this 7th inning in the bottom of the 7th. Neese would come in to relieve Reed, and then Ruggiano would come in to pinch hit for Ethier, and he struck out. So that would do it for the bottom of the 7th, but not after the Dodgers took the lead 5-2 by scoring 4 in the inning. So now on to the top of the 8th. Chris Hatcher in for Los Angeles, and we had Ruggiano in left and Yasiel Puig in right. And he would end up, Hatcher struck out Denard, he struck out Conforto, and he ended up getting Flores to ground out as he set down the side in order. So now on to the bottom of the 8th. Robles in to pitch for New York for Neese as he relieved him. And he would set the side down in order as he struck out Puig. He got Grandal to ground out, and he struck out Hernandez. So now on to the top of the 9th. Kenley Jansen on the mound for the Dodgers, looking to close this one out. And Hernandez in left, Peterson in center. In defensive substitutions, Johnson would pinch hit for Rolls, and he struck out. Granderson drew a walk, and then he would end up taking second on a fielder's indifference. David Wright came to the plate, and he ended up flying out. And now Daniel Murphy represented the last out, and he popped out. And this game came to a close as the Dodgers even up the series at 1 game apiece, winning this one 5-2. So it was a crazy game, a pitching duel up until, the bottom of the 7th there, as both pitchers were pitching excellent games for, the Mets, Syndergaard, and then over on the other side, Greinke for Los Angeles. But then things just blew wide open there in the bottom of the 7th, especially that play with Utley sliding into second, that one being reversed. They actually, I believe they reversed that on the field. Man, it's like, how do you reverse that on the field? Yeah, it was a crazy play right there. Crazy bottom of the 7th. They ended up putting 4 runs on the board, and it was a must-win situation for the Dodgers, as they could ill afford to go down 0-2 heading to New York for 2 games, for games 3 and 4. But now with it evened up at 1 game apiece, they're back in this series, and Greinke gets the win. He pitched 7 innings. He allowed 2 earned runs off of 5 hits. He had no walks, and he struck out 8. He did allow the 2 home runs. Hatcher pitched 1 inning of relief for the Dodgers, striking out 2, allowing no hits and no earned runs. And Jansen picks up the save with 1 inning there in the 9th. He did walk a batter, but he struck out 1 and allowed no hits and no runs. And for the Mets, Syndergaard, 6 1/3 innings, as he let up 3 earned runs. He walked 4, he struck out 9, and he allowed 5 hits. And then Colon came in. He did not record an out, but he was responsible for an earned run, although he did not allow a hit. And Reed pitched 1/3 of an inning. He allowed an earned run as well and 2 hits. Neese pitched 1/3 of an inning as well, getting a strikeout. And then Robles pitched an inning, striking out 2, allowing no earned runs and no hits. So that was the pitching for the Mets. And in this game, we saw some home runs over for the Dodgers as Cespedes got that home run in the second inning. Then Conforto, actually for the Mets rather, Cespedes got that home run off of Greinke, and then Conforto got the home run both in the second innings. But then the Dodgers, like I said, in the 7th inning, just breaking this one wide open. If they just string together some hits, they take advantage of the opportunity that was there for them, and they just kept things going until they were in the lead. So it was a crazy game in Los Angeles. They said it was early on, it looked like a pitching duel. It was 2-1 until that 4 runs in the bottom of the 7th. It was a huge inning. That could have been the pivotal point in the series right there. We shall see where things go from here, but at that point in the game, it looked like the Mets had their number. It looked like as if the Mets were on their way to maybe sweeping the series until that bottom of the 7th. And then the Dodgers turned everything around, especially at least in this game. We'll see moving forward, but they now have new life where it looked like they were on the life support here in the NLDS. But let me know what you think in the comments section below. Definitely interested to read your opinions. And let's just go over the offensive stats real quick. Kendrick 1 for 4, 1 RBI, a run scored. Gonzalez 1 for 4, 2 RBIs. He struck out 3 times. He did come across the plate once. Turner had a big game, 2 for 4, 1 RBI, 1 run. He also struck out once. Ethier 1 for 1. He walked twice, and he had an RBI as well. And Hernandez 1 for 2 with 2 walks, and he came across home. And Utley, of course, 1 for 1 with the run scored. And for the Mets, as said, Cespedes, he had that home run. He was 1 for 3. That was his 1 RBI. And Conforto 1 for 3 as well with that home run and the 1 RBI. And Denard 0 for 3, strikes out 3 times in this game. Murphy 1 for 4. Granderson 2 for 3, but he did not come across home. He also had a walk as well. So those are the numbers. And so the Dodgers get a big win here. They had to win this one. They still got their work cut out for them as this series is going to New York for 3 and 4. So the Mets, they're still alive, but now they're going to be without Tejada as he's not going to be able to play for the rest of the playoffs as he's now done. So see how that affects them as well, as that is a big loss there for them to lose their shortstop. But let me know, as I said, what you think in the comments section below. Definitely interested to read your thoughts and opinions about this game, also about that play. I said it was a legal play. Some people are saying it was dirty, but that's baseball. It used to be, if you watch the old highlights and stuff and hear the old stories back in the day, Ty Cobb used to go in cleats first. So, it was a legal play. It wasn't like, it actually looked like Utley might have took the brunt of it. But the thing is his head actually broke Tejada's fibula. He fractured it anyway. So that's pretty crazy. He's got a hard head there, Chase Utley. But like I said, let me know what you think in the comments section below. Thank you very much for listening. It is appreciated. I hope you're having a good day, had a great weekend, and enjoy all the sports.